What's poppin', everybody? This is Sabro54. Since I showed you guys the Relinquish deck profile, I thought might as well show Constellars too. This deck is going to need more cards. It's not going to be as cheap to make as Relinquish, where most of the core cards are common and rares. You're going to need a bunch of Ultras and Supers for this deck. It's not going to be as hard as Shadol's, but I mean, you do need to have like some of the extra deck monsters at the very least. If you're going to use Constellars, you want to get out Pleiades out and stuff. So that's the point. The deck, basically, I run some cards that I think a lot of people wouldn't want to just run at all. I have the three level 3 guys, Leonis and Sheraton. I do Leonis and Sheraton. Well, I do Leonis because I do Sheraton in the first place. Because Sheraton is one of the only ways you can generate card advantage with Constellars, and decks these days need as much card advantage generating as they can get. Searchers or whatever you want to refer to them, giving you pluses. And one of the only ways Constellars can do this is through Sheraton. It's only through a normal summon, and it has weak attack, but it basically lets you grab any Constellar from your deck, which is nice. So since we really want to take advantage of Sheraton, I do Leonis as well, because you can do Leonis, Sheraton, grab a card, and then go to Hyades, Constellar Hyades, and then Ptolemy M7, and if you got like the star chart, you can draw a card. But at the end of the day, the point is that you're making a play and you're not minusing. You're getting a card back through Sheraton. Now that we got the new Constellar Kaijus, or whatever it's called, the newest card, let's just say, you can also do like Sheraton, grab Kaijus, special summon him, grab a star chart, and even if you can't make like an immediate XYZ play, then you're still grabbing cards and setting up for next turn, play a bunch of backrow, which is good. If you have like Pollux and Sheraton, you can do Pollux, Sheraton, grab the Kaijus, then summon Kaijus, get your pluses, get your star chart, and still make an XYZ play. So there's a lot of different combos you can make with Sheraton. It's just pretty good being a searcher. The only other card that can give us like an immediate plus and give some pressure to our opponent, I guess, on its own is Constellar Sombre, which is like the junk synchron, I guess, of the deck, you could say. You summon this card, and you're going to grab a Constellar from your graveyard, put it into the hand, and then you can normal summon it. But it's essentially like a reviving effect, basically. So I do two of her as well. Other cards are going to be pretty standard. You run the triple Pollux and the triple Chaos because it's your easiest way to go into Pleiades, and Chaos can make the level 3 monsters level 4 too. So you can do Leonis and Chaos and still go to a rank 4 XYZ. So that's pretty good. And that's all the Constellar monsters, I guess. I think I covered everybody. Just pretty nice. Got a few hand traps, or one hand trap basically, the one Ash Blossom. And I guess Infinite Impertinence can work from the hand too. If you play, your opponent is playing and you haven't played any cards, like they're playing first. So that's good. And then the rest of the stuff, I think it's maybe standard. This is one of the decks where I'm happy to run Pot of Desires. Pot of Desires is usually a card that I don't run in a lot of my decks, but decks like Constellars and Trap Tricks, where you don't necessarily need, specific pieces to be in your deck, like in D Heroes and stuff. This deck is fine if a bunch of your stuff gets banished, because you have all of your monsters, almost all of your monsters are played in threes basically. And just having two pieces, basically, you can make a play. So that's the point of Pot of Desires. I don't want to do more than one though, because even if it's very rare, using Pot of Desires to just banish 10 cards and then grab in another Pot of Desires is just ass. So my policy is always one Pot of Desires in my decks if I use it. Stable cards, Raigeki, Duster, Reborn, I mean standard stuff, Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm could be potentially dead because we have face-up cards like Constellar Star Chart. So it's a bit risky, I'm not going to lie. But it's the best destruction card that I have, since we can't use more than one Raigeki or Duster. Maybe if I had Dark Hole, I would put Dark Hole because it'd be more consistent. Or even like Twin Twisters, you never know. I guess if I acquired it, I can try it out in the deck. Yeah, surprisingly, I don't have either of those. I don't have Dark Hole, but I got like Raigeki and stuff. Anyway, and then speaking of the star chart, we do two of this. It's the only like good Constellar card you can grab with Kaijus, to be honest. Like they got a few other cards like the trap card or whatever, but they're just not good, and your opponent is gonna see you search it. They're gonna play around it. It's just not good. Star chart, it's gonna give you an immediate benefit, and if it sticks around, you're gonna draw more cards every time you XYZ summon. So once again, just plussing, which is needed when you use a weak ass deck like Constellars. Double MST and Book of Moon, I guess, too. Book of Moon and a bunch of back rows, as you guys can see. I've got like the typical back rows: Judgment, Infinite Impertinence, Call of the Haunted, Black Horn of Heaven. If you got like the Solemn Strike, Solemn Notice, it's probably better for you to run that. Other typical texts that I like Magic Drain, negating an opponent's spell card, giving me additional protection. And Starlight Road, too. Since we're running a bunch of back row, I have Starlight Road and Stardust Dragon in the extra deck. Hopefully we can make that play work. It's nice. Waboku as well. Quake in Mirror Force. I do recommend you run like a Mirror Force-esque card in your deck. Either Quaking or the Storming Mirror Force might be a good choice as well. Quaking is better, I think. So I'm glad I managed to acquire it. These cards are good because it gives your back row a little bit more variety. If you have only on-summon back row cards like Bottomless or Black Horn of Heaven, if your opponent just plays a bunch of monsters, let's say they go first, they do their shit, and then you get this sort of back row, it's not good. Like when they already have monsters, sometimes having that Quickie and Mirror Force can save your ass, and they might not see it coming. Since we have back row protection like Magic Drain, Judgment, and Starlight Road, I think Quaking is a nice card to have. And basically, this is the deck. I mean, I guess touch on the extra deck too. Yes, I know you can see that I only have one Constellar Pleiades in the deck, but to be honest, games are so fast and extreme these days that you might be able, you're going to basically get away with one, to be honest. I mean, there could be the chance for you needing the second one at the very least, but the reality is, a lot of the times when I play Constellars, I just usually go to Prizep because it's a beater, or even Omega because it's going to save my other Constellars too, have a little bit of protection. It's not always Pleiades, like especially if you have some of the other guys too, and like you're gonna go to 101 pretty often, and just different cards that are not Constellar XYZs. So yes, I only have one Pleiades. Obviously, if you got two, you run at least two. But we've got the burn dude, the dinosaur burn dude. I don't remember his name right now, but that guy, he's a rank 5. I've got some other typical rank 4s you gotta have, like 101. I like Black Shibacorn. I like Heartland Draco and Crooked Cook as well. I really like. And I've got the, just in case it is possible to go to this card, but the Thunder Dragon, whatever the name is, I don't remember its name. But it's gonna nuke everybody if you discard all materials. And then Evil Swarm Ouroboros too. Very occasional card, but just have it just in case. Obviously, you gotta have pleiades too. You can do one, but I want to do two just in case. I want to have one so I can go to Ptolemy 7 usually, and have an extra one just in case. Do double Prizep and one Omega too. Prizep is a beater. And the other thing that I forgot to mention too with Kaijus, if he is a material to a Constellar monster, then when it attacks dark or light monsters, you can instantly just banish them, which is actually quite strong. So a lot of the times, you're just going to want to go to Omega and just carry through that sort of effect, banish your opponent's cards, not rely on Pleiades, basically. So, yeah. And I think basically that's it. This deck is pretty simple. You need a few rare cards like in the extra deck if you want to make it. A few cards in the main deck too, like I think the Kaijus and Sombre are full cards, super rare cards. And I don't know I think Kaijus is just a rare. That's right. But that's about it. I guess the Kaijus, I forgot to mention them, but you can run Kaijus in this deck as well. We have space, so if you want to drop these guys for more hand traps, I mean, it's on you, but I'd rather just not run extra hand traps and have the Kaijus here, like the Sea Turtle, because you can make the combo with Pleiades, get rid of your opponent's monster, and then grab the Kaiju back. And it's just very easy. You can just summon this Kaiju on their field. It's only 2200 attack. you can go to like a rank 4 and then just easily kill it over if you don't have pleiades. So it's good. It's one of those decks where you can afford to run this card because it doesn't really interfere with you like you're trying to make deep combos with multiple cards. Basically, that's it. Any other cards that I forgot? I don't think there's anything else. I guess the Swords of Concealing Light too. As I mentioned in any of some of my other matches, if you watch them, I usually refer to this card as like the economical Dark Lulu no more, because it's basically going to put all of your opponent's monsters face down. So it's going to shut down their effects in a way, kind of like Dark Ruler no more. Obviously, they can negate it, but the point is, it's just another card that's going to act like a mass removal card. It's not going to get rid of everything like Regeki, but when it puts it face down, some monsters that don't get destroyed by effects and stuff won't be able to get over this effect. So it's good like that. And if it stays on the field, they're going to remain face down for 2 turns. So that's nice. And this is basically the deck, guys. If you wanted to try it out like how I have it, there's not really many cards that I would change. Maybe the Light and Storm for like a Dark Hole or Twin Twisters, perhaps. And of course, the extra deck. Like if I had a second Pleiades, I would find space to put one more in. Maybe Ptolemy M7 too. It's best to have like at least 2 for backup. But it's not like 2014. There's a lot of variety of extra deck monsters today. So, I mean, speaking of which, most of my monsters are from back then anyway. But I'm taking up space with Stardust Dragon too. Obviously, if you don't want to run Starlight Road, you're going to take that card out and you get another open spot in your extra deck. But this is how I use the deck in the matches. So, hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Share this video with your friends. And I'll see you guys next time. Warai!